Hey, that was dramatic, huh?
So epic. I was like, damn, man. Like, yeah, music.
Yeah, the first time John did that to me, I was like, wow, this is really puts a lot of pressure on me. Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah, it's like, you better say something really important.
Listen.
Countdown is over.
Your next words better be magnificent. This is the intro of the show. It's very impressive. We have a nice intro with songs. Let's go.
Oh, man. Anyway, hey Karla, how are you? We're live.
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Well, thank you for being here. We're live. Hey guys, this is Karla on this side. This is Karla Ortiz. She just finished judging the Proko challenge, and the results, the video came out this morning. So congratulations to all the winners, and thank you, Karla, for doing that. There were so many
good
ones. How did you many. Did you flip a coin or what?
I was thinking about this. It was just like, you know, the one that was easy for me was the first place winner, just because like it was so striking for me, and I really resonated for me. But one of the issues with like any kind of like art contest or any kind of thing is that once you get a certain like, you know, technical threshold, and there were a lot that hit that, then it becomes more a matter of taste and more of a matter of what speaks to you as a judge. So like the second and the third really spoke to me as well, but there were at least like 5 to 10 other entries that I had on the side that I was like, I want to choose them too. There were so many, so many. So it was really hard. You didn't make it easy for me.
Did you see all the winners of all the other categories?
No, I haven't seen.
Sorry, we just launched it. We just launched it this morning, so you.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I had to look up like maybe like 40 minutes ago. I'm a wreck right now, man.
Hey, you cleaned up well.
No, thank you. I've just been pulling all-nighters left and right. It's been.
Okay. Is that normal?
No.
No. Oh, okay.
No, it happens.
Just lined up with this perfectly.
Yeah. But don't worry about it. We're all good here.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I guess we're just talking and we're getting questions from the community, and that's about it, right? We're just going to have fun with our coffee. Okay.
It's tea.
It's tea. Hey, I got tea as well.
Hey, it's my morning drink. It's like Earl Grey and a little bit of oat milk.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. Very English.
I know. If you want to be super fancy about it, you'll add a little bit of vanilla into it, just a little, and then you're super fancy.
That's like the exact same way that I make my matcha. Well,
really?
I mean, Starbucks makes it, but when I make it at home,
I don't know, man. That's a production to do that.
No, I make matchas at home as well, and it's basically the matcha powder, oat milk. And you could add, honey, a little bit of honey, and then I add a little bit of vanilla sometimes.
That sounds really fancy. That sounds good.
It's really easy. You just drop, put a little bit.
but it's like a thing of ritual, right? Like I love that idea of like, you wake up in the morning, like I like to scoop like my like Earl Grey leaves into it, heat up the water, and then just like pour it. And you know, I used to be really into coffee, but I had to give it up because caffeine was like messing up my sleep schedule. but I did used to love to like grind the beans and do all the things. Anyway, if we have other things we want to talk about, we don't need to talk about.
Not really. No, we're good. We can just talk about coffee.
Oh, this is great. I thought, this is awesome. Like I'm all about coffee and morning rituals and just general silliness.
Yeah, me too. That's what pretty much Marshall and I do on the podcast. All right. Well, I'm going to just read off questions, and we're gonna answer them.
That sounds fancy. Let's go.
Let's go. Okay. First one. Can you recommend any source on how to draw foreshortened figures? Yeah, this is a pretty easy one. I mean, there's a bunch of books. Loomis has some chapters on foreshortened figures.
Yeah,
like specifically foreshortened figures. What's your?
The one that always goes back to mind is the book that I grew up with, How to Draw the Marvel Way.
Oh yeah,
that one had excellent foreshortened figures.
Yeah.
But like foreshortened figures are still tricky even if you have the book.
It's not.
Yeah.
The book is not going to do it. It shows you what your result should look like.
Yeah.
Look, this is a foreshortened figure.
I always saw those you know what? I always saw those foreshortened books as that meme that goes around where it's you draw a circle and then you have an owl. That's how it feels, those foreshortened books, because you're just okay, great, I have a punch and all that, but how do we get there? But the book will help you to understand the underlying anatomy and why it works the way it does. But I also suggest always look at a mirror, or I kind of say to tend to avoid cameras, just because cameras will flatten all the planes out. It will make it mega weird. But just look at you with stuff in a mirror and see how it kind of works. You could do a camera if you need to, absolutely. But yeah, it's a mixture of learning it and also seeing it. It's for sure they're hell.
Yeah. I mean, the books basically say okay, start with a box in perspective, right? And then put the figure in the box. Which is right. The box will help you because the box shows you the angles and where everything needs to converge, and that's where you need to start. But then you need to think of each part. If you've got a foreshortened forearm, you got to think of the mass of the forearm as a simple mass, the mass of the hand as a block, and start with that and foreshorten those correctly, and then layer more details on top. It's a if you ever see a Kim Jong-il break it down, that's exactly how he breaks it down as well. And especially if you use 8 measurements at the 8 head measurements, you can pretty easily fit those in a box. As he mentioned, once you start breaking outside of that box, it's thinking everything in very blocky terms. It's tricky. Yeah, actually, in my video, my second video with Kim Jong-il, or my second major video with him, we show he shows that exact process. So I think it's called How to Draw Like Kim Jong-il. I think that's the name of it.
My favorite,
very straightforward.
That's so good. My favorite Kim Jong-il story is I was in a workshop with him a while back, and someone asked him so how do you draw the way you draw? And deadpan, he's just oh, I just got hit with a baseball on my head. And everybody was really?
Oh, okay. You don't know what to believe.
And he's just no, I'm kidding, but I'm not. But I'm kidding. And it's people were oh, that's good to hear. Wait, should I go fight
hit myself?
Somebody?
You should hit yourself with a baseball bat.
He's so cool. Yeah. So awesome. Yeah, check it out.
Yeah, he has fun with questions like that. It's how did I get good at it? What kind of question is that?
He's so funny. He's a funny dude.
He's awesome. Okay, Vessels of Flesh asks,
oh my.
Yeah.
No,
actually, I want to look at this person's profile real quick.
That's an epic name.
Horror and creature illustration with a queer twist. Lots of nudity. She, her. Okay.
With a name like Vessels of Flesh. That was a good hint.
Yeah. Okay. So she, her asks, how do you know when you are ready to go full pro? Oh, that's one question. She has 3 questions.
Oh, okay. We'll take it on by part. I think when you start getting hired.
That's probably it. Yeah. Well, I guess a lot of people ask this question, and I think the real question here is, how do you know when to start trying to get hired? Are you ready to even start trying, or should you just focus on improving your skills to get ready to get hired?
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah.
I would suggest like having an honest, but not debilitating conversation with yourself, where you look at, you know, what is out there and what is entry level, like, you know, people who are like just entry level who just got their first job, or you know what you know, a lot of professionals will also post like, this is what I was when I just started entering the industry, and then just kind of getting an understanding to what that technical level looks like. Also reaching out to people who have just gotten into the industry is always really helpful, because they're the ones who have just gotten, you know, through that. They're the ones who just, you know, have a clear understanding how currently is best to do things. And take a look at that and see how your work compares technically. And again, it's supposed to be an honest but not a debilitating conversation. So I think where a lot of people go wrong in that is that where they like look at it and then they find something that they don't have currently, and then they just fall into a pit of despair. And it's just like, no. It's honest. It's like, oh, I don't quite have this. Let me go grab that. Or I don't quite have this anatomy thing. Oh, let me go fix that. You know, and then it's just tweaking and tweaking and tweaking until you're feeling like, oh, I'm at the level that others who have just entered the space are. Let's go. And then it's just a matter of like, you know, meeting the right people, sending your work to the right places, and just being visible. It can take a while sometimes, but eventually you'll get there, you know?
Yeah, I like that. I like the answer. I think that probably the best way to know is to ask somebody who knows the answer in your field. Because also it's like, there's so many different types of artists. So like, for example, we had Jeremy Cranford do an AMA a few weeks ago on the site, and he did portfolio reviews. And it's like, well, things like that, Jeremy would be the perfect person to ask, show the portfolio and be like, am I ready or not? And he would tell you, I would hire you or I would not hire you. Like, it's very straightforward. And so a really good way is to reach out to people like Jeremy. It's sometimes difficult to get an answer, but you know, it just reach out anyway. Just reach out to 20 people like him who are hiring and who maybe were at one point in the position of hiring, and ask them. And also at conventions, like if you go to any convention, like there's usually a lot of portfolio reviews, and the studios that actually look for people, they have portfolio reviews at their booths, and you can sign up and go show them and see if you're ready or not. And you get the answer.
Yeah.
You get the perfect answer.
Yeah, exactly. That's how so many of us like, that's actually how I got into, you know, illustration world, just by like going to an illustrator. Usually it was Greg Manches, and then an art director for Tor Books or Orbit, either Lauren Penapinto or Irene Gallo. And every year the illustration conventions, I'd be like, hey ladies, what's up? You know, because they set time aside to have portfolio reviews, so I always take advantage of that. And every year they'd be like, oh, this is good, like fix this, fix that. I'm like, okay, no problem. Come back the next year, hey, what's up ladies? And they'd be like, oh, you remembered, oh, this and that. It took about 3 to 4 years of doing that before I showed my work, and Irene was like, how about you work with something with me? I'm like, okay.
Nice.
So
that's awesome.
Especially like in conventions, like, so it can take a while, but you're not only, if you're earnestly looking for ways to improve your work, people will be willing to give it to you. And especially if you do it over a long period of time, people will remember you and be like, oh, that's the person that was really excited to show me their work, and oh, they improved, oh my goodness, yes. And that's actually happened to me now, where I've had people come in and show me their work convention after convention, and I'm like, oh, you improved. Oh, you worked on the thing. Holy, yes, that's awesome. So
yeah, it was funny. I went to Lightbox 2 years ago when it was the first live one. I know. next year. But it was funny. Like, I got a line of people that wanted to do portfolio reviews with me. I wasn't even saying I'm doing portfolio reviews, but everybody just like, I think like a few people brought their portfolios, and everybody's like, oh. Yeah. He's doing portfolio reviews. And then like the next day there's a line, and I'm like, I don't work in the industry. I don't know if you're good enough. Like,
You have a good eye. You have a good eye.
Yeah, but I can tell them like
this.
the fundamental off. I don't know what Blizzard is looking for. Like, you know, like I looked through Jeremy's answers for in his portfolio review, and I was like, oh wow, like they're very specific. Like he was like, you're not colorful enough. And I was like, oh, like I like that. Like it was really muted, right?
Yeah.
Like really muted tones, but beautiful. Like I prefer that kind of stuff. But like Blizzard has a very specific look. You have to make it really colorful and make it work. And so he was like, if you want to work for Blizzard, this is not going to work. You got to show us something different. And so I was like, oh, okay. That's why you go to someone like Jeremy, because he'll tell you exactly what you need to do in your portfolio to get a job at Blizzard.
Yeah, that makes sense. That
not
makes
go
sense.
to me. He'll be like, I love that. Make it look like Nikolai Feshin, who's my favorite artist. It's like, well, that's not going to.
No, but I guess it does make sense. Like, for example, there was a period, it's changing now. There was a period where if you wanted to do Magic the Gathering illustrations, you needed to be cinematic. That is changing. But for example, for MCU or Marvel Studios, if you want to get into Marvel Studios, it's about getting the materials just right and about rendering characters really, really, really well. Because like they want to make sure that like when you send it to like a costume department or something like that, they understand leather is leather, you know, cloth is cloth, this is metal. That's really important. So I guess every company does have like its specific things, but at the end of the day, like the baseline is technique. So if you have your technique, you know, you can always adjust towards, you know, each company. But yeah, good advice nonetheless. See, you got this, Dan.
Okay, that was her first question.
Oh wow! We just spent like 4 hours on it.
Yeah, that's all right. We actually don't have too many questions. Well, maybe I need to refresh the page. Maybe we do by now, but yeah, we announced this kind of late. We usually announce it the day before, but we announced it like an hour before we started. So the questions haven't populated yet, but
it's okay.
They'll come in. I think they have already. I just need to refresh the page.
Worst case scenario, we have a Q&A between you and me. I ask you questions, you ask me questions. Let's go.
Yeah, here, let me actually refresh the page. Let me see.
Like I like asking.
Oh yeah.
Like,
there's way more now. Never mind.
Oh, we have never mind.
Okay, cool.
You don't get that Q&A. Sorry.
Well, she'll yeah, me? No, I don't. It's okay. After we're done being live, I'll force you to stick around and ask a bunch of questions. So her second question is, what artist should I study if I want to do dark fantasy horror art?
Well, interesting.
Well, the only one that comes to mind for me is Eric Gist. He was my instructor, and he does book covers for horror stuff, and he's great. And actually email him and ask him what artist he studies for that kind of stuff, and he'll answer you. He's pretty good at that. So
the artist I'm thinking of, which a billion people. Well, number one, you want to see like the classics, so like H.R. Geiger, because he basically inspired like a whole generation with this like, you know, Alien and all this like horror art. You could also take a look at Alan Williams, who is an incredible artist. He does a lot of wonderful creatures, a lot of horror pencils as well, and he's super friendly, so you can always go online and hit him up and be like, you know, ask him directly as well. There's a lot of like, you know, really all kinds of crazy art, but I wouldn't necessarily say like, I wouldn't necessarily pigeonhole yourself into any specific genre just yet, especially as you're starting out. Like I think like the, you know, as you're growing, you know, as an artist, one of the things that you want is to gain as much experience in painting and as much experience in, you know, depicting something visually correctly or in a way that speaks to you. I would suggest, you know, why not study Sargent? Why not study Anderson? Why not study, you know, the masters, you know, the people that you see and you're just like, my God, technically, it just blows my mind, regardless whether it's horror or not, because you can always learn something from them and then apply it directly into the things that you're really into later on. So don't pigeonhole yourself to like, oh, I don't really care for this because it's not horror. And it's like, okay, fine, totally. But have you seen? My cat is going crazy. Sorry.
Have you? Cat?
Yeah, it was a cat. She's got the sumi, so she'll run around the entire whole house. Anyway, sorry for that hurricane, but but I think it's just useful to just be like, oh, like, you know, again, it's not horror, but wow, they've rendered a face really wonderfully. I'm gonna take that. Or wow, they like, you know, have this, you know, environment and it's just done really, really well. I'm gonna take that, and then you'll be all powerful.
Nice. Yeah, good advice. What's the one thing you like or dislike about the online art community?
Ooh.
Only one thing.
Only one thing?
That's what I said. What's the one thing?
I
have like 20 things.
I know, I have
that
so
I
many.
hate about you guys.
Well, okay. We'll start with the bad, but we'll end it with the good. One thing I dislike about the art community, and it's not really the art community.
It's online.
It's just online. Yeah, it's just
online
Twitter.
art community.
I just don't like Twitter.
You don't like Twitter? Oh, what's up with Twitter?
Twitter's exhausting, man. but it's not exclusive to art. That's the thing, right? Yeah. Like it's easy to say, oh, art Twitter this, art Twitter that. But no, like if you're a part of different communities in Twitter just sucks for conversation and communication. So it's easy for people to like miscommunicate. It's easy the app rewards like hot takes type of thing. So you're always supposed to be outraged because it's the thing that you get the most clicks. So suddenly something as mundane as like, look at my nice apartment or look at like my plants with IKEA shelves gets like so much hate. This is a thing that actually happened to a poor lady, a poor artist. She posted like a super cute picture of her space. It's just like plants, well decorated, IKEA furniture. It's nothing fancy, but she does a really good job organizing it. And people were like, "You are the elite. You are so rich. How dare you?
How dare you?
And you're just like,
you must throw away your money now to make me feel better."
That nice plant, and you know, it's a thing where like I think like. There's a lot of frustration out there in the world. So people will lash out to where they feel they can affect it the most. It's like it's a thing that we do as people. But I think that doesn't happen nearly as much in other platforms, but it does in Twitter because of how it's laid out. It's like it thrives from that. So that's one thing I don't like specifically about the online art culture. But it's not specific to art.
So just the online Twitter culture.
But just social media kind of sucks, you know?
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah. And what about let's end it on the good thing. What's the good, what do you love about it?
Oh man. So that's the thing. I have like 20 things I dislike about the online art community, but I have like 100 things that I love about the art community. I still find the art industry or in the art community to be just so wholesome and so uplifting and so like there's just camaraderie there, you know? Like once you shed away the nasty Twitterness that's, you know, social media, you end up with just like people that are really passionate about what they do, people that are loving in what they do, people that want to elevate each other, and people that are bonded together by this like visual language that we call art. So I really, really, really like every time I get to like interact with people, it's just like, oh yay, hi, and you get to geek out with other artists. And it's like, I like your art, and then they're like, I like yours too, you know. And it's just like, yay. Yay. And I love that aspect of it because it's so reminiscent of, you know, the community and what it feels like when you're there face to face, like, right? Like whenever I go to a convention, it's always like so wholesome and everybody's so sweet and so uplifting. Like Lightbox was amazing. It was just like, this is like all the friends together, and like we get to talk to our friends, we get to make new friends, we get to interact. I love interacting with newer artists or students because it's always just like, come, I'll show you the way. It's not really the way, but it's a way. But this is what happened to me when I was, you know, around your time, and this is what I had felt. And no, don't worry, that's all normal. Let's go, you know. So I do like that a lot about it, like the ability to reach out. There we go.
Yeah.
And how wholesome. Reach out. That's two things. It's hard. You don't make it so hard. Like one. Oh.
Yeah. I love it. Okay. Let's S or S. I don't know. It's an E with the little S.
Okay.
I don't know. Yes. Yeah, let me see what the username is. AES is his or her username. So AS. Okay, I will read the question now.
Okay, Stan.
Is it more? God, I am making myself sound like an ass. Is it more difficult to get hired as a freelance artist? This is a really long one, by the way. How did you find people in the industry to show your portfolio to once you were finished with school? You've worked on the big budget MCU films, and I was curious about the workload for those projects. Okay, so that's another question, I guess. You keeping track?
We got 2 so far. Actually, no, we got 3, sort of.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. That was 3 questions, and we still have more than half of the paragraph left.
All right, let's start.
Should I just stop?
Yeah, because I'm like, okay,
go ahead and...
like I don't even remember the first one. Like how to show your work.
Is it more? The first one, is it more difficult to get hired as a freelance artist?
Depends on what it is that you want to do. Some, like for example, like illustration, it's all freelance. If you want to do like book covers, Magic the Gathering, any of that, freelance forever. That whole industry is completely freelance. If you want to do concept art for film or games, majority of the time it's in-house. The pandemic changed a lot, and more companies are now going hybrid, so there's a chance to become technically freelance. Same for film as well, but normally you start in-house, and then once people get to know you, then you can be like, oh, okay, everybody knows me, they know I work well, see ya. And that's kind of my path, you know. I didn't go see ya, but I did go like, hey, I did my time in a studio, I want to do freelance for a while. And so that's been me for the past like 6 years or so. I don't know, time passes weird. So that's one question. Okay, the second question.
Okay, how did you find people in the industry to show your portfolio to once you were finished with school?
We've kind of touched it up on it already, but like definitely conventions, online, like hitting up people online, whether it's, you know, politely, whether it's via Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. And I don't think Instagram is the best one. You can't really have you can't put images on comments or anything of that nature. So scratch Instagram.
Yeah, and direct messages, like if that person doesn't follow you, it's gonna go to their like other inbox. And a lot of people don't even look at that one.
I don't.
So
I've gotten like every once in a while, I'm like, oh yeah, I have that inbox, and I check, and I have like so many messages.
Yeah, it's like hundreds, thousands, maybe. It's
some of them are professional too, and I'm like,
yeah, that's what sucks. Is it like the business inquiries and other really professional artists are just like, hey, what's up? Let's collaborate, and I'm like, what the hell? You emailed me like 6 months ago. How is this still in there? Or you messaged me. Yeah. So it's direct messaging on Instagram just gets cluttered. Yeah, no, it's a horrible way to reach out to people.
Find them on Facebook or on like Twitter, I think is the way to go. But honestly, like conventions, especially once we start opening up more, conventions will be useful. Sometimes writing emails, some artists who take the time to write back. I seldom I have so much to do, so like I feel super bad, but I'm like, I answer every once in a blue moon. I'm always like, oh, so sorry, I wish I could, but I either can paint or write emails. And that's just how it goes. But like, just reach out to people without expecting anything and be like super, if they answer, then awesome. And if they don't, that's fine too. But also reach out to your peers. I think like a lot of people get really focused in like reaching out to like people who've already made it, but people who are on your same level and are trying to make it, or people who are like your art comrades, whether they come from a forum, whether they come from like a website, whether they come from wherever. Like those are the people who will work with you and who will become the industry with you. It's almost, oh god, this is gonna get really nerdy. It's almost like like an anime, when it does like animes where it's like a school, either it's like Naruto style or like My Hero Academia. Naruto style, or like My Hero Academia, where like you have no idea what I'm talking about.
No, it really did get too nerdy. Is Naruto, is that like a director or something?
Oh my god, really?
God damn it. It's another one. Hold on. Naruto.
Okay, so you are not into anime.
Naruto, musical artist.
What are you even looking at? No, it's Naruto. Naruto. But really basic. We don't need to get into this. But really basic. It's just,
God, I hate it when like, I know nothing about anime, people. Okay, just because it's big doesn't mean I know about it. I know nothing about that world.
I'm so sorry, I didn't know. but really quickly, so long story short, what these stories basically do is like they show you, groups of people coming together and reaching out and working with their struggles together as they move forward with life. And in my experience, that's how it was for me. When I started in the industry, I reached out to, professionals, yes, but it was my peers, it was my classmates that eventually we ended all, in the industry. And we were able to share with each other contacts. We were able to share with each other experiences, stories. Oh, you should definitely work for this person. Let's stay away with that one. And so I think it's like a mixture.
Which one?
Look at you trying to bring the salt.
The drama. We gotta.
Look at you trying to get that drama. Put it on YouTube. Can you believe what Karla demolishes?
We're gonna post that little clip on Twitter and just get that Twitter juice going.
It's true. It's gonna be about the drama. But yeah, no.
You should start some drama with one of your friends. Just pretend, right?
Yeah, for sure. Just be like,
level each other up.
Just yeah, that'd be great. And then just like have an escalating drama. What, you want to?
We should have some drama.
Do you want to do some drums?
Some like really bad, something really bad, and then afterwards we both get canceled.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds good. But it has to be about something stupid, like chocolate or vanilla. I'm chocolate.
Oh no, that's not drama.
But
chocolate, absolutely.
Chocolate. See, we can't even fight about that.
Who would choose vanilla over chocolate?
Some people. Some very boring people.
They would not be on Proko live streaming.
Damn. It's true. They sent me a giant questionnaire before I joined in, and they were like, everybody. And it's only just one question: chocolate, yes or no. That's not true, but it should be.
You don't like that. How can we trust you?
Does that sort of answer your question?
Yeah, what was the question?
I don't know anymore.
I think you answered it. Was it still the portfolio one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we answered that one. Okay. This person has like 8 questions. So, okay, you've worked on the big budget MCU films, and I was curious about the workload for those projects. How many finished illustrations did you have to submit for Doctor Strange or Black Panther? And were there weekly meetings during which you had to present your ideas?
I mean, yes. Let me see. It varies and it depends on what you're working on. For example, if you're doing like a character concept, it can take anywhere from 3 to 5 days, depending on how detailed the character is, how complex the character is, how quickly the revision, the sketches are chosen, if there are any revisions or anything like that. Usually I take about a day to a day and a half to do sketches. But I do some really detailed sketches because I like to have like an idea that at least is like 40% there. that way, you know, a director sees it and they're like, oh, I get everything that's going on in there. And then it's just a matter of rendering. So I don't submit, I'm not one of those artists that submits you like 20 different ideas. I submit you like 2 to 3 solid ones. Sometimes
ones
I
that
even just,
you actually will be happy if they chose those.
And if I'm really, really adamant about one, I'm like, you just get one. And it's like, it's because but I usually do that more with illustration. It's really rare. I just have to be like, the only time I do it is when I'm so behind an idea that I'm like, I need to do this. I'm so sorry. And most of the times we're like, sure. And I'm like, I will always write, I have more if you want to see it, but I think this is the one. And most of the time they're like, I still want to see the other stuff. And then they see it and they're like, oh no, you're right. And I'm like, I know. But if it's like, for example, a keyframe. So a keyframe is like a glorified singular moment of a storyboard where we establish, you know, mood lighting, drama, action, story, all these things into one perfect little shot. And that's for, you know, the director to use, the cinematographers to use, the lighting, everyone. That can take about a week usually of work. Depending on the project, we have weekly to bi-weekly meetings. And usually the way that it works is that you submit it to the art director or the visual developer director. And usually it's either the big ones are Ryan Meinderding and Andy Park.
That's funny. Ass's next question is about Ryan Meinderding.
Oh, Ryan's fantastic. Yeah, I will talk forever about Ryan, but nothing. I'm not dropping anything that's like hidden. But he's just awesome. He's like the world's like coolest dude. Anyway, they're all really good people. That's the thing about Marvel Studios and that crew. It's very small, but it's very, very tight. They're all like wonderful people, and every time I'm like, I go visit them, I'm like, why am I not here? And then I like walk outside and it's LA. I'm like, oh yeah, that's why.
That's why I'm not here.
No, LA is great, but I'm in love with San Francisco.
LA great?
It's LA great. Ooh, that's the drama we get to start.
There's no drama. There's no drama. I think we agree here. LA is not great.
Listen. LA. Okay. LA feels like a giant mini mall. I said it, yes. but within that giant mini mall, there's all sorts of wonderful things. So there's a great art community, there's great food. And every time I go to LA more and more, I like it a little bit better. But that was me starting from a place of I really dislike it. So but
I don't know why, but the LA culture just doesn't feel as nice. Like it doesn't feel as awesome to me as like when I go to like even New York, which is just like super busy and rushed. It's like there's more culture there. And San Francisco, definitely more culture. And then, you know, I go to like New Orleans, right? New Orleans was like the best culture I've ever been. It's like, oh my God, this place is so fun. I love it. But LA, it's like, what is this? I don't get it. What is the culture here?
It's just LA is so sprawling, right? Like, so you have like all kinds of different cultures. Well, it just depends on where you are and where you look, right? But if it's like it doesn't. It's I think it's just because it's so spread out and you have to go everywhere with a car that it makes it tricky because most of the time you're just in a car. But I'm a big walker, which is one of the reasons why I for me. Yeah, I love to walk everywhere. I'm just like,
we agree on everything.
Oh my God, Proko! Our plans for drama are not working out. I'm sorry to say. We're gonna
find something by the end of the stream. There will be something. What color shirt is best? I say black.
God
damn it. Man, what the hell? It's not working out.
This is a failure. But anyway, but yeah, so you give your work to a director and they usually give you the feedback. So they usually are the ones who are like pretty much the point men or point women, mostly men right now. And then you get the feedback and then you make your adjustments and so on. So it's a very well-oiled machine. It's if you're freelancing, I have been in the position where I freelance outside of MCU and I've worked with directors directly, and that's also a different dynamic. So that was a little bit more like, I kind of like that sometimes because it's like playing D&D almost. Like there's just like, this is what you envision, and you do their characters like, is this? And then they're like, yes, but then change this. And it's like, oh cool. So that's always fun. But yeah, that's how it works in the MCU.
Nice. Okay, the question about Ryan Meinerding, still from AS. Ryan Meinerding mentioned that Ian McCaig was the one who introduced your work to him. Could you tell us the story of how you started working with the giants of the industry like McCaig?
I love McCaig. McCaig is the best man in the world. Okay, so this is just goes to show you the importance of, going to places and seeing people. I was working at a game studio called Kabam. And there was, I think, 2012, 2013. Oh, it's long gone. Kabam.
I've heard of it. Someone else brought it up.
I work with like really good people there. It's surprising. Brian Mattias, Alan Williams, Mitch Morehouser, a bunch of wonderful women and men. But there was a workshop going on. Tara Larson, I think, was the TLC workshops in Seattle. I don't know if they're running anymore. But she had a workshop with Brom and Ian McCaig. And those were two of my biggest influences. By the way, if you want to see horror art, check out Brom as well. And I was like, oh, I have to go. I don't care. I just have to go. And so I went to this workshop and we did this like story workshop. It was fantastic. And at the end of the last couple of days, excuse me, I'm hiccuping. At the end of the last couple of days, it was portfolio review. And at that time, I had just released one of my magic cards, my first magic card, Tesa, Envoy of Ghost, which is this like lady who's like sitting down and judging you. So she's very judgy. So I showed Ian my work and he's like, "You're hired." I'm like, "Hired where?" And he's like, "I don't know, but you're hired." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that works for me." And so, we kind of meshed in terms of like, he's very energetic, I'm very energetic, and we got along really well. And we kept in touch. And about 6 months after, I sent him an email with new work. And I'm like, "Hi, Ian, I just want to send you what I'm up to. I don't want to send you just a hello email without any fun visuals. So here you go." And he's just like, "Oh, great. Wait, you're in San Francisco, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, "I'm in San Francisco. Come meet me for coffee." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And it was a meeting at ILM. So I had to go.
ILM?
Industrial Light and Magic.
Oh, of course.
And I went around, and if for those who don't know, Industrial Light and Magic in San Francisco is a beautiful campus. It's up in the Presidio, and they have a Yoda fountain. And I was supposed to meet Ian there. I didn't know how to get there, so I'd ask people randomly, "Excuse me, where's the Yoda?" And I know like anywhere else that would be, really crazy, but not in that campus. So I brought my portfolio and everything just in case. And so it happens to be, it was an interview. I was going for an interview at ILM, and I didn't know.
That's convenient.
I was just like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "Yes, come on." And so I got to meet, I got to do my interview. I thought I botched it. I thought I wasn't going to get the job because the director at the time was just like, David Nikabayashi. He was just like, "Listen, do you do like 3D? I'm like, "No." It's like, "Do you do?"
No, you're hired anyway.
"Do you do like matte paintings or feet or anything like that?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "What do you do?" I'm like, "I just like to."
Why are you saying it like that? He's like,
I know. He's like,
"What's
"This
wrong
is
with you?"
serious professional. I'm like, "Ah." But
Here,
yeah,
continue your story. My AC just turned on, and I gotta turn it off.
Oh, why? It's nice. You gotta be
loud.
Cool. Oh, I guess so.
Can you hear it?
I can hear it, but I don't care.
Yeah.
He's such a perfectionist, y'all. Look at how hard he ventures to heat for you all. Anyway, I was just telling them you use you live in the heat for this moment because you can't allow yourself an AC.
Well, I cooled it off pretty low, very low last night.
Good. That's nice. But yeah, no. So I did think I botched it just because I said no and I stayed true to what I like. But eventually they called me, and that's how I started working with like ILM and Industrial Light and Magic. That's where like I work with Ian, I work with Christian Alsman, I work with Eric Tammons, Ryan Church, like a whole slew of like just giants that like I saw from like the prequels and just their work I've seen everywhere. It's just insane. But little by little you start to, you know, make connections as humans, not so much as like, oh my god, this incredible artist, but just like, hey, human to human. Then and Ian and I got along really well. We used to go grab coffee all the time, just like chat and just be like blah 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 blah. And then there was a stall. This happens a lot in movie studios where, you know, it's really busy, and then it's not, and it slows down. And the first to go are the contractors. So I was the first to go. They're like, bye, Karla. They're like, don't worry. I'm like, don't worry. It's okay. I understand. But at the same time, Marvel had an opening. And that's how Ian was like, Karla, I have a great space for you. I'm like, where? He's like, Marvel. I'm like, whoosh.
What's that?
You know, and Ian, I was very lucky. Ian really believed in me, and he sent my work over to people, and I'm always like so grateful to him. And he always tells me like, no, Karla, I didn't do much. I just like opened a little door. You're the one that had to walk through with it. And I'm like, oh, that's very nice, but still, it was.
He
but yeah,
knows. He knows.
He's just very sweet, but he knows.
Yeah.
But you know, I think it's a matter, but that's just life, you know, like opportunity is like a mixture of like luck and preparation, you know, and, you know, being able to seek out, you know, that luck and, you know, meeting people and giving yourself the space to be able to make actual genuine connections with them. And not meeting people in a sense of like, I didn't go to Ian and be like, he's the guy that will get me the job. He's the guy that will get me hired. I'm gonna woo him. No, it was just like very like, hey, like I'm a human. I'm an artist. I'm trying to make it. What can you offer? I'd love your, you know, just your insight, whatever you can give. And if you could give me nothing, that's okay too, because at least I get to learn from you, you know. But then we became really good friends, and he showed my work to Ryan, and I can't believe Ryan said that. Where did Ryan even say that? Oh my god, Ryan! I'm gonna have to hit it. I'm gonna have to hit him up and be like, Ryan, you talking about me? You talking about me, Ryan?
Oh my god. Oh, you're awesome. So much energy.
Sorry, I'm just like thinking about it. I'm like, wait, he did say that. Oh, Ryan's so sweet.
Ryan loves you.
Yeah, I love him. I love all those guys. They're so wonderful. They're all wonderful.
You should convince Ryan to come on.
Yeah?
He's too busy to answer my emails. I had Ryan.
He's too busy to answer my emails.
Yeah. Well, he is actually too busy. He's like really busy. He's very, very busy.
I always like hit him up like, "Hi, Ryan. I don't mean to bother you, but I hope you're having a good day." You know, like.
Yeah. I had him at my booth at Lightbox. He did a demo.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah, so I'm very surprised he actually responded and did that. That was awesome.
He's a sweetie. It's just, again, he's like one of the, you know how like some people say, I'm really busy, and you're like, are you? He's one of the people that says, I'm busy.
Yes.
I'm like, I believe you.
Yeah, I know.
You need a vacation now, right now.
Yeah. You know all those Marvel movies? That's you remember
all 10 years?
All of those movies? Like,
yeah.
Can you count them? Probably not.
Yeah. He oversaw so many of them. Him and Andy have done just incredible work. And I'm excited for all the other artists too, who just like went up and like are now also like directing too. It's always really fun to see that. So you'll have like Rodney and Jackson and so on. I'm just like,
I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I'm talking MCU stuff. Sorry.
Okay. All right. The next that's it with AS's questions.
And any more?
No, that was all 18 of them. Okay. The next one is from Raw of Art. Hi. This one actually I'm curious as well on how you're gonna answer this. Hi, Karla. I'm grateful to ask this question. I hope you can help me with something that I've been struggling with. I just completed 5 years of studying at an atelier. What I'm now finding is I'm having trouble bridging the gap between what I learned from the atelier, like still life, portrait, figure drawings, with more imaginative work. So so that's one side, and then now they want imaginative work like illustration, concept art, and anything from imagination. How were you able to cross over from doing work that you could strictly observe and copy to being able to harness your imagination? Thanks very much. I've admired your work for years.
Oh, thank you. That's such a good question.
Tell
and
me, please.
I've seen this actually happen. See, my atelier was a little bit different. The Safe House atelier, I think it's gone now. I'm not sure. I need to check. But the Safe House atelier used to be. I need to check. He's like.
Computers.
Yeah, it's like daytime. Sorry, we've been watching a lot of Star Trek lately. Anyway, and I've seen people that go through like a very intense atelier training, and you've got the observation skills, you got the rendering skills, you can do blockings just fine, but you can only do things that are like right in front of you. Once you start adding the imaginative element, then it kind of starts breaking down a little bit. I was taught to do both at the same time, so I think that's maybe why my brain thinks that way. But one of the things that helped me a lot was make sure that I'm always working from some kind of visual reference. You know, like if I were to show you any folder for one of my paintings, it's just full of like all kinds of references. And one of the things that I like to do is play a little game with myself. My painting has a set of rules. Let's start with just like one particular very simple aspect. Like my painting, let's say I'm doing a figure, it's from imagination, and I'm dictating, you know what? The light comes from like the top right here, right? It's going to be an up angle, very dynamic. I want to add, you know, crazy sci-fi elements to it. But of course, I'm not going to be able to find an android. So I'm going to look at motorcycle parts. I'm going to look at all kinds of other parts and see how they work. And when I take the reference and I put it, you know, I kind of alter it onto my painting, I just always have to make sure that whatever information I take from my reference, I'm placing the rules of my painting, the lighting, where it's coming from, onto that, you know. So like materials is such a good way to think about this, like, or construction. Like, let's say I'm painting a knight, and you know, I have a picture that is that showcased the construction of the armor on the arm area, but it's not the right lighting. Well, I have another picture that gives me the right lighting, and then in my mind, I kind of like establish the underlying structure first, and then I apply the lighting. It's a lot of I don't know if that makes sense, but it's just a matter of finding your strengths, and your strengths is just observation, like painting from observation, and using that and finding all the different images, a lot of references that can build up, that you can utilize to build up your own painting. And it's really difficult to describe outside of, like, you really need to get good at disseminating. Disseminating, is that the word? Yeah, sure. At disseminating the information that a reference provides.
I don't know what it means, but
like dissecting is better. At dissecting, thanks, Dan. You're so helpful. You're just like, is this word correct? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Who cares?
Sounds like a real word. Yeah, I think it is a real word.
Dissecting. We'll just use dissect.
There you go.
But we'll just dissect the reference and the information that reference gives you, and then apply it to your painting and whatever rules that painting has, whether it's like where the lighting is, what the perspective is, and so on. I think it's the best way I can describe it. I'm actually working on I'm considering doing a workshop for schoolism on that, on how to dissect references, because I'm starting to know that more and more people that are extremely classically trained, like there's a bridge, right? If you're super classically trained, you have a hard time visualizing how to do something more fantastical. But if you're really fantastical and you do everything from memory, you have a hard time kind of visualizing the real and the observational. So it's like, how do we find that middle ground? I'm trying to find it, but I think it's just a matter of like try to grab different points of references and utilize that information and put that into your painting. I don't know if I explained that well. I hope I did. I tried. I'm sorry. It's a hard subject. It's easier. It's easier to show. It's not so easy to talk about, but hopefully, like that'll help. Yay!
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 Okay, next question. Yangs says, "Hi, looking forward to the live stream. Karla, I'm wondering if you have a process for book cover illustration. For example, do you read the full book first? Does There's your answer. Does the author provide any insight to character design for the artist, etc.? Thanks in advance."
Okay. Sorry. I'm too honest. I'm
Oh man, you're never getting hired for a book cover again.
No. So sometimes they will send me. I have listened. If it's like an old book, I have listened to the audio. But if it's like a new book, they'll send you like. They usually send you like an excerpt, like a little like summary of what it is.
Interesting.
And
they don't even send you the option of.
They will send it to you if you want, but I think like art directors all understand, especially when there's like a time crunch.
Mm.
I don't think they rely on artists reading it.
Yeah, they're like, here's the important stuff that you have to get here.
Exactly.
You don't have to. They don't trust the artist to figure it out from the book itself.
You can request it. So also when it's like a short story, they will send you the whole thing, and it's short, so you'll just read it away. But when it's like a longer novel, like that takes a little bit of time. That takes investment, and you don't always have that luxury. So it's easier to just send like a little summary of what the book is, an excerpt, and just be like, hey, this is like the important beats. These are like the character descriptions. This is like what the author likes to see or would like to see or hope. Some are the author notes. And you can start having a conversation, and you start kind of playing detective if there's information that's missing, and be like, okay, what's the age group of this character? If the author could cast anyone, who would it be? Just to kind of get ideas. And that's one way to do it. That's usually how it goes. I can't imagine a time where they sent me like a whole book. Here, read this. I have, however, been sent the book with the cover, and that's really exciting. So you're like, afterwards. So I work with Orbit every once in a while with Lauren Petapinto. Actually, I have one. Hold on. Give me a second.
Okay. There she is.
Okay, so this is a book cover that I did for Evan Winters, Rage of Dragons.
Ooh, oh, that's a cool cover.
Yeah. Oh, this was a challenge, because this is Lauren Petapinto was just like, I hired a character artist, and there's hardly any characters. I mean, I did put all the statues, but the primary focus is the shield and stuff. But so this is the book, and it's I'm right now finishing up the Grisha verse.
Yeah. Was she really cool. Who is the author?
The author is Evan Winters. He's fantastic.
Evan, okay.
He's Canadian. He's wonderful. And this book series has been like, it's making rounds. It's killing it out there. So
was he happy with it not having a character as the main focus?
Oh, he's the sweetest. He's always like, Karla, everyone look at Karla's cover. I'm like, Alan. So we've done lots of interviews back and forth. He's a really, really wonderful person. So yeah, cool. so that's the process. So you will get the book covers, and I got extras, so I've been giving it to my parents. And it's like, look, Dad, look, Mom, look what I did.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
So yeah.
Mary asks, hi, Karla. I love your work. I'm wondering what kind of concept art portfolio is expected for the cinema industry, especially characters. What about for getting a job at Marvel? Do they hire junior concept artists at Marvel? Thanks. So
two questions. Okay, well, let's start with the first one. So for character portfolio, for a portfolio for characters for film, you would want to have characters. That's a big one.
Yes.
But I think the thing about film, well, first you need to, I'm assuming this is live action. Live action is interesting because you have to work with more realistic silhouettes as opposed to animation or games where you can be a little wilder, unless the film itself is supposed to have wild shapes, but you don't often get that. That's actually quite rare. So you'll have to work with interesting layering of materials, interesting cuts of fashion. You're gonna have to take a look at like what's current, get yourself interested in like fashion, look at like who are some of the more interesting couture fashion artists are. Like I'm really into, I'm gonna butcher her name, Guopei. She's really fantastic. There's of course like all the classics like Alexander McQueen and so on. Those tend to be a little bit more historical, but just look at like what's in the runway and like what some of the cuts are and start noticing some of the layering. Something also you can see is just look at like classic films and how costume tries to answer the question of what this character does. That how do you layer things, how do you make things interesting. Rhythm is a very important aspect of creating a good character costume. The way that I kind of describe rhythm is a repetition of patterns, but in an interesting way, in different ways. So, for example, a good one to see is like Doctor Strange, like the one that I created for Doctor Strange. He has a lot of cuts that are kind of like V and the chest, and then once you go into like the pant area, the cut of the cloth goes upwards, and it's kind of like an inverting of lines, all to kind of showcase, move around the eye into the character. Another thing for character making is that you always want to focus on the torso, because that's where the face is. It's going to be the most important part of the actor. The second part is usually the hands. They're going to be really expressive. And never ever skimp on the shoes. A lot of people don't fully design the shoes, but when
no barefoot people.
No, well, unless the character is barefoot, but then you want to add like something cool there too. Like maybe they have like a tattoo, maybe they have some, ankle beads. You never know. Like, so it's so it's one of those things where it's just like you got to really think about, interesting ways to present the character, interesting ways to layer, and also the condition of the clothes. Basically everything also that you put into a character design has a story element to it. Like I think the best way that I've ever, that I've been describing it to people is like, you choose your outfit for a reason. Your characters do as well. So think about why a character wears something, or why a character needs to, grab a piece of armor to protect themselves, and it has to be functional. That's the other big part too. When it comes to live action, there's going to be a human that wears that, so you can't do weird stuff. For example, armor pieces that if they lift their head, the armor just like you can't do that. So you really need to start thinking in a more functional basis. Another thing that's always helpful, but it's just look at cinematic lighting and see how you can apply that to your character concepts or to your portfolio as well. Take a look. There's an amazing website. Oh my God. It just launched. I think it's now in subscription, but it's not that much. It's called Shot Deck, as in like a shot and then a deck. DECK, Shot Deck. I know what you're thinking. Calm down.
I was not. I thought it was pretty clear, but now I am.
This is gonna get an R rated, or the YouTube. It's like, you can't believe what kind of shot Karla was talking about.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But it's an amazing library of just like cinematic captures.
That's cool.
And you can like start getting yourself trained and seeing how cinematic lighting actually works. Like, because the closer you can get to the finished product, even if it's painterly, by the way, because all I do is paint. I don't do photos. But the closer you can get to the finished product, the more enticing you'll be to a production.
Are these from real films, or
Yeah.
do they just like, okay, so they take screenshots from, okay.
It's an excellent compendium.
Interesting. That's cool.
Yay.
Awesome. Okay, next question. From BA. Hi, Karla. So I've noticed that your art has some really intricate detailing. How does one think of the simple shapes before going through all that? I struggle with this whenever drawing something I'm really passionate about, and I really want to draw that something well. Are there some hacks or gimmicks to convince oneself to focus more on the overall story and use more simpler shapes and add the detail according to the story you want to tell? I would be really glad if this could be answered. Don't answer it. Let's just skip this question. let's move on.
See ya. No.
Drama.
Oh, I hate it.
I know, it sucks. I hate myself.
So mean. I think it's interesting because I'm not entirely sure if you mean like an illustration, a drawing, or a
probably
story.
any kind of illustration where he puts details into it, but
yeah. Okay, so I think it's kind of forcing yourself to always keep in mind the painting as a whole rather than, a unique part. I think when I see a lot of students do this, actually, well, they're like, if it's digital, they'll like have like one section of the face fully zoomed in, and that's all they're working on. And I'm just like, every time I see it, I just get horrified. I'm like, oh no, what are you doing?
Zoom out.
Yeah,
Zoom out.
You always want to keep in mind the painting as a whole. If you were painting in oils, you do like you do a couple brush strokes, you step back, you do this, you look at it, you come back, and because you always want to keep the image as a whole. To do this digitally, I like to use a new window. So like on Photoshop, if you go to, let me see, if you go to Windows, I think. Here, let me check. I'm not. You go to Windows, and then you go to Arrange, and all to the bottom you'll hit like something called New Window.
Okay.
That will open up an exact replica of whatever it is that you're working on.
Right. But you can have a different level of zoom in that window.
Exactly.
So you can just have an overall view while you're zoomed in.
Yeah, so you can zoom in and get the detailing, but you also have the image as a whole. And so you can always kind of quickly look at what you're doing without losing focus of the painting as a whole. If this was traditional, you do a couple, brush strokes here and there, and then you step back and always try and keep in mind what the image is as a whole. There's no trick, there's no shortcut, there's no hack. It's just a matter of like forcing yourself not to laser focus on one area so much that you lose track of the painting as a whole. For illustration in particular, like I don't move forward as well until I have a solid sketch and a solid understanding of light, composition, and color. So I will submit that to like my directors and be like, this is, exactly what it will look like and it's final. And that way I'm not figuring out certain areas as well as I'm painting, because then it becomes like horrible, right? Because you're not only trying to render something with the appropriate light, with the texture and all that, then you're also trying to figure out compositional elements, and that's just too much brain load. Nail down your compositional elements in the very early stages, your values, your colors. Make sure that it looks as close as possible. Like if you were squinting your eyes and you get a blurry that final, like, and you see a picture and you get the blurry, that's what you submit. You submit that blurry final to eventually become a more render final, if that makes sense.
And I think when people ask this, like, I have a feeling that they're just like starting on their final drawing and painting, right? It's like, I personally, when I do large compositions or any kind of painting that's somewhat complicated, I start with sketches in a sketchbook in a very small size. And it's like, I can't put detail in there. Like that's not the point. I'm starting with my compositional value breakup. Then when I feel like, okay, this is kind of cool, I'll go a little bit bigger and I start figuring out like the major forms. I'll even do like if it's like a nude figure drawing or something, I'll figure out the anatomy where I literally just draw every muscle. This is not the final drawing. This is a study so that I understand what all the bumps are that I'm going to be putting in, and I can design the muscles and shapes in a way that looks nice and is designed, not just like a replica of the photograph, but is still accurate because I understand the anatomy. And I go through these stages of different drawings. This is not like I'm adding stuff on top of the same drawing. I'm figuring this stuff out. And then when I get to the final drawing, I start over and I'm using all the stuff that I just figured out from my sketches.
That's how it should be. That's exactly how it is. Actually, I have a folder of a ton of like sketches and finals side by side. Can I share that? Can I show that?
Can you share your screen? I don't know if John is listening. I don't have control over the stream. If John, if you're listening, can you go full screen? Yeah, but it'll just be on your like little half.
Oh,
there you go. John is here.
I'm taking over. Oh, okay. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to. Oh my goodness. What is screen 1? Is this screen 1? Oh, this is good to know. All right. Okay, hold on. Give me just a second. I'm trying to figure this out.
Be careful which screen you share.
Yes. Okay. All right. Yes.
You might have Shot Deck opened on.
I know. Whoa. Whoa. All right. Okay. I think I have it. Okay. There we go. Can you see?
Yes.
Can you see the bigger image, or is it still just on the folder?
No, it's still on the folder. I think you might just be sharing that one window.
Yeah. Let me share proper. Sorry. This is very new to me. This is very
well, StreamYard. Has its own things.
Here we go. So that's my quick doodle for here, let me go back here. So this is pretty much my, like before and after stuff. So it just kind of shows you like, here's a good example of it. This is a image I did for, that's the final. This is for Magic the Gathering poster for War, I think. And that's what I sent the art director. Ooh. So it's just like brush strokes. It's very quick. But
no details. There are some details, but not really. Like nothing in here is like a final brushstroke.
It's very indicative of just like where things are going to be, but not really like detailed. Like I didn't go in there and was like, I'm gonna render the face. No, there's no need. You just need to know where things are, and then you take that to finals. Boom. So that's pretty much what I like to do a lot.
Keep going back and forth.
Give me a second. I gotcha.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what's that? Whoa. So these are this is a.
Oh, that is cool. That was
like,
awesome.
Just like showcasing. Oh, this is a collaboration.
You're hired.
Oh, thank you. This is a collaboration I did with Ian.
Someone's in trouble where you are.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm showing the images. They're coming for me. So this is the sketch. And this is the final.
Ooh.
I'm having a hard time showing this all at the same time because I'm very scared of opening things that no one should see.
Are there things in this folder that no one should see?
No, but there's things underneath it that no one should see.
Yeah.
So
okay, you could just close it now. We got the point. Don't take the risk.
This is a collaboration. So and even in oils, like
it's a collaboration, you said?
Oh yeah, that one was a collaboration between me and Ian McKeg.
Wow.
So again, but like establish all the things.
Wait, go back.
And
I love
final. Yeah, this is oil.
Is this? It is oil. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, dang, that looks like really like oil.
No, it is legitimately oil. Yeah, I love to.
Man, it's not impressive anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying
Drama.
Drama. There's that drama. Oh, here's another one. So you have all your shapes, all
Nice.
the things
Oh,
ready,
man.
and then you get the pencils.
I love the pose of that crow. That is,
Oh.
it's there's so much action in that. You caught like the
Thank
perfect
you.
frame. Where'd you get that? Is that from
Kapow!
like, is that from Shot Deck?
No, the crow
No?
pros is like 4 different crows on Google. Like I always
Okay.
grab a bunch of different pieces and I like change their anatomy drastically. But yeah,
Nice.
so
That's so
hopefully
cool.
that helps. And there we go. I did it.
That was actually in like a sketchbook, right? That final one you.
Yeah, that was a
so
Moleskin.
cool.
Yeah,
Uh,
they're fun.
I don't know why, but I have a thing for a double page sketch where it's split up between, it's 2 pages in a sketchbook. It just looks so cool all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to frame the sketchbook like that.
Oh
right?
man, yeah. Actually, that's one of the things we do. I'm a part of a show on Spoke called the Moleskin Project.
Maybe that's where I saw that, and I was this.
We literally take full moleskins. We do one sketch. It's a bit of a waste of a moleskin, but then
that's cool.
then they frame the whole moleskin, and it looks really cool. Actually, I have a piece.
Wait, so can I buy some of your painting or your drawings in moleskins full, or are they all sold out?
They're all sold out minus this last painting that I did.
What about that crow one?
Oh, that's been long gone. I'm sorry.
Oh, man, I love that.
But can I show? Actually, I can show you the one that I did recently.
Yeah, please.
But
show and tell. People like show and tell.
Do you like show and tell? Yeah,
they do. Every time, like, the past several years, anytime I did a live stream, and it was rare, someone would always ask, "Hey, can you show us your sketchbooks?" And it's like, my sketchbooks suck. They're just like anatomy studies and like little value studies for my bigger peeps.
Oh, really?
I don't sketch that much. Most of my, I do, but they're all on like newsprint pads. They're big, so it's not like a sketchbook tour. It'd be mostly like a giant newsprint tour. I'd be like flipping big sheets of paper.
That's amazing. Hold on, I'm making a little folder because I gotta be really careful. I didn't prepare to show anything, and I just need to be very careful.
Maybe you can chat it to me. I don't know if you can send images in here. No, I don't think you can.
Oh,
but if you want to email them to me, I could show them on my screen.
Ooh, I could. I just need I think I should be okay. I just need to check do some stuff really quick. There, I found it.
Okay. Well, while you do that, let me ask a question.
Okay.
And then let me find one.
You did? But I just finished it. Yes. I know. Once you think you're ready, it changes up on you. You're just
the suspense, the drama.
Okay. All right, let me do the share screen and screen 1. And nope, not screen 1.
Not screen 2. 1.
Not screen 1. Stay away.
I really want to see this project you're working on now that you can't show.
You cannot see any of it. Okay.
Who's it for?
Let's people. All right, give me just a second. Just gotta close some stuff. All right, there we go. I'm being and everybody can see my tabs. Here we go. There we go.
We can't see
cool. So this is the latest one that I did.
We can't see yet. We can't see your.
Oh, you can't see?
No.
Why not?
You gotta share your screen, and then John. Oh, maybe John might need to.
John? Oh wow! There we go.
Yeah.
I'm sharing. Whoa, cool.
Boom.
The future.
There you go.
All right, so this is the latest one that I did, and it's in oils, and it is so fun to do, just because you have to use GAC 100 and to prime the surface of the oil, and it's
GAC? I've never heard of this.
Yeah, GAC 100. It's
what is it?
It's do I have it in here? It's like an acrylic primer. And you can like use it on top of your pages. The first layer.
It's for painting on paper.
For priming. Yeah.
Okay. I've never painted on paper before,
oh yeah,
so
it's super slippy. This is an older one that also sold, but that's how it looks at the end. I know, it's so fun.
Oh my god, that is so cool.
And so this is the Photoshop version. Like, I can never picture it right. Like, the final pictures always look like butt. This is
I love that. That is amazing.
No, it's true. Like, so this is the fancy camera one, and it doesn't look nearly as good as the one that I took from my iPhone of another painting.
Yes, because I could see that it's in a sketchbook, and that adds something to it.
Yeah, I have pictures of this one in sketchbook form. I just don't have them on me right now. But yeah. It's so different. There you go. Okay, no more show and tell. I'm getting nervous.
Yeah, no more. Okay. Next question. Next question comes from Seth Lynch. Hi, Karla. How do you schedule your usual days? Do you wake up and get right to work? You did today. How much do you allow yourself for free time?
I'm so tired. So this is funny because I got asked to do a work-life balance panel, and I'm like, I don't think I have one right now.
No, most artists don't have work-life balance. I mean, that's kind of what, like, it's an advantage that some people have, is that they are very heavy on the work balance. You know, it's not balanced.
So normally I am. Like, normally I really value the ability to hold on, I accidentally disconnected my headphones. Normally I really value normally I really value the ability to, like, you know, have my work day and then end the day and hang out with my boyfriend or see family, see friends, you know, play video games, so many video games. And that's important to me because I
saw your YouTube channel where you're playing video games, and there was one really weird one where all of a sudden they're like at a nightclub and like weird things are happening.
That's Final Fantasy, bro. You just got the honeybee in part, and it gets weird. There's like weird. A makeover. What are you doing? I don't have a YouTube. I want to eventually.
Yeah, but you have a YouTube video where you're playing that, and it gets really weird.
It gets
and then there was another part where they're like, you're exercising.
Yes.
But you're just playing a video game exercising. You're not actually exercising. You're just sitting there and you're doing squats. What is the point? No, you're not.
Squats. Yes, I am. I'm doing squats.
It's like it's like your character is doing squats, but you're doing the exact opposite. You're sitting on your butt. Like,
no, man. That's how my squad came in.
Okay.
No. So I did a bit of streaming in 2020. And I will answer your question, I guarantee it. But I did a bit of streaming. I actually started streaming in 2020 because there's this game called Final Fantasy VII that I used to play as a kid with my dad. And my dad used to watch. He used to love the story. And the pandemic hit, and the new remake came out. And I was like, I want my dad to be a part of that. So I actually set up a streaming so that I could, play the game and my dad would watch. And it was, we'd engage with it. But then I also had a bunch of other people come in and watch me play video games. And then I'm like, maybe I should get going and, see if I could do this, but for painting. And I tried it digitally, and I didn't have nearly as much fun digitally because I work digitally all the time. So then I'm like, okay, let me do it with oils. And that was really fun. And there's a painting back there.
The red one?
Yeah, red one. And I did that live on camera. And I had a really good streaming thing, but then I got too busy with work and all that stuff. So I had to pause it. But I hope to bring it back eventually. Or do a YouTube. I don't know. Live streaming can be intense sometimes, especially when you're painting. Yeah,
you should do a live stream of painting on Proko.
You want? Hey, let me get that capture card fixed, and let's talk. Let's talk, boo.
Yeah, I'll send you an Ada Mini Pro thing that I have here if you do one. So you can have multiple cameras. Do you have multiple cameras?
Yeah. Well, I have I have the Stream Deck thingy, and then I switch cameras. I have like my nice fancy.
You can
camera.
connect multiple cameras to it.
Yeah. Wait.
Oh, okay. Well, then
no.
never mind. You don't need an A10 Mini Pro.
No, send me anyway.
I'll send it.
yeah, I'll do it. Just I gotta wait until my schedule isn't just like
Yeah, of
crazy.
course.
You know that like there's like gifs of like that kid coming in with like a pizza and everything's on fire. That's just my life right now. Like I came in with a pizza and everything's just like fire.
Well, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, no problem.
While your house is on fire.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, the question was.
The question was work-life balance.
Kind of. Not really, actually. Well, a little bit. The question is, how do you schedule your usual day? And do you wake up and get right to work? And how much do you allow yourself of free time?
So,
but yeah, I guess.
So I wake up, depending on what's going on, I usually wake up anywhere from like, I'm a late morning person, so I usually wake up around like 9ish, unless I'm like pulling all-nighters and I wake up at 10.
You only get 1 more hour of sleep.
10 to 11, maybe usually.
12.
Yeah, I know it's bad. Don't do it. Avoid it. I'm having a hard time doing them anymore. A 12 to 2 p.m. or a.m. for sleeping time.
2. Well, I don't know.
The problem for me is that I'm a natural night owl. Like,
really?
I just always, ever since I was a kid, I've always just.
Why do you fight it? Like, I know Marshall's a night owl too, and he'll work really late.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't wake up till like 10, sometimes 11.
Yeah. I think it's mostly just because the world gets started a little bit earlier right now. My work with MCU, I gotta be on call around 10. Or if I have to do meetings. And I have also outside things, and sometimes that happens at 9. So that's usually how it goes. But when I wake up, I like to spend about an hour to 2 to myself. Like I'll make my tea, I'll read a book.
Who else does that? Jeff Bezos.
Oh, hey, then I'm Jeff Bezos.
you're
I guess I'm technically Jeff Bezos.
I forgot what he calls it.
I suddenly have a lot of money.
There was a video where he talks about his day, and he says he has to have, I forgot what he called, he had a word for it, like his frolic time. It's not frolic, but it's like it's just time for nothing. He has to wake up and just like sit and read a newspaper. He probably reads a newspaper and just like sip his tea and just do nothing for a few hours until all of his team starts messaging him. Well, they're probably messaging him the whole time, but he doesn't even check. Yeah.
No, I'm very similar, except I'm not a gigantic billionaire who.
No, it doesn't matter.
It's questionable.
We're all humans. We have the same. We all sleep and we all wake up. That's
true. But I love that. So that morning time is mine. Sometimes I go on a walk with my mama.
Oh my God, I do the same thing.
Yeah. I love going on walks in the morning. Hey, see, again, another drama point. No longer.
There's no drama.
Too similar. No drama. But yeah, so I think, and then I usually get started around like, I would say like 11ish or so. It's usually the time I get started. And then I keep going until I'm done. Sometimes I go like, and it also depends on what the day needs. Like sometimes you get everything done in like 6 hours. Sometimes you get everything done in 8 hours. Sometimes you get everything done in 4 hours.
Sometimes 18.
18. Yeah, that happens. Sometimes you're just like, all right, marathon time. Let's go.
Yeah,
and that's just how it goes. But I usually try to save dinner time as a space where I eat with my boyfriend or eat with friends or eat with family. Like that's important to me. I usually set about an hour or so then. And
an hour? That's it?
An hour or 2. Depends. If it's like going out with friends, then 3 or 4. And
sorry guys,
the
food's not here
time.
Yet. I gotta go.
No. But I usually like to wind down. I'm trying, because my schedule as it is right now doesn't allow me to be full on night owl. I try to stop painting by 9, because one of the things I've noticed is I paint. If I continue painting, between 10 or 11, it takes me about 2 hours to shut my brain off from painting. And I need to like calm down. I need to like read or something. So I try to pause it by then, and then I'll go read or play games or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I realize we're an hour and a half into it, And there's a lot of questions now. So you want to do like lightning round? You want to just like
boom, let's go.
All right. This is from Cows. Hi, Karla.
Hi.
Hello from Brazil. I'm a huge fan of you. You're amazing. I'd like to know what inspires you the most to create art and how you decide about your color palette for a painting, both traditional and digital.
Okay.
What inspires you?
So everything. Video games, anime, music, books, movies, life, everything. You'll get like inspiration from everything. Music videos. I get actually really inspired by music videos. What was the other question?
How do you decide about your color palette for digital and traditional paintings?
Okay. It usually has to do a lot with story, what I'm going for, or something that's inspiring. For my digital, it's usually in terms of like illustration or story or like film or whatever it is. It usually has to do with story. What is the point, or is it like a somber? Is it happy? What's the mood? And then I kind of choose the color palette based on that. Sometimes I have to choose specific characters with specific colors, so I try to think of colors that like are helpful to that. I look at a lot of movie stills and use those for inspiration as well. In terms for personal work, then it's just things that I imagine or things that I'm inspired. There's no real rhyme or reason to it. The latest one that I did, it was mostly just inspired on Walter Everett's like subdued kind of yellowish palettes. I went a little bit more pinkish on mine, but whatever, I didn't care. I just had fun. Yeah. So usually it's what most attracts me, when I'm having fun, what I'm inspired. There's no real reason when it comes to personal work. Boom.
Cool. Boom. Awesome.
Let's go.
Let's go. Next one from Frank.
Go,
hi, Karla. Frank. Love your work and miss your live streams.
Oh, Frank.
Where you do the squats.
We did so many squats.
Just curious if I have what it takes to get a career in the industry. I am in my early 50s and need to make a change. He has an Instagram link, so let me see if I could share my screen. How do I share my screen? Share screen. Screen sharing is easiest with 2 monitors. What?
Well, while you get that done, I'm going to answer it really quick. No, it's not too late. We have an obsession in Western culture in particular towards the idea of youth as being the only time in your life you're ever capable of doing anything.
There, John.
Let's assume we all have like, what's the average age, like 75 to 80 years, was usually like life expectancy, sometimes even bigger, depending on like where you live, sometimes 80, 85. So that's like your 50, that's like at least like 30 years of your whole life left to do something else. But because we have such an obsession with youth, or because we have such an obsession with things, show that first one. I'm very curious about that.
This one?
Yeah. Let me see. That's cool. Okay.
I don't know if I could zoom in. Oh,
there you go. I can see all the details. That's fine. So very quickly. No, it's not too late. Like, you still have so much time left. The only time you don't have left is like when you're dead. So and there's so many countless of stories in history of people who are just like in their 50s, in their 60s, and that's when they get to really break it in. In fact, Alan Williams didn't really start working hardcore in film until he was like in his late 40s, and now he's in his 50s, and he's finally working with Guillermo del Toro and all these people. These are really fun and these are really great. What I would say, though, it's just like, if you're interested in concept work and stuff like that, for example, take a look at, films and really, really, really start to focus a lot on your technique. It just, you're close. It just needs a little bit more steps. For example, your anatomy needs a little bit more steps. That one's very good, actually.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Your values and how you paint things needs a little bit more work. Oh, you did the Schoolism thing with us. Hell yeah.
Which one? This one?
Yeah. That was a Schoolism Live. Yes. So you're doing the thing. I think the thing that you should do next is do a master study I think I mentioned this in the video, but that's when you do a 1-to-1 replica of like a painting. I would suggest Sargent for you, and then you yourself, and it'll take time, however long it takes. It can take a week, it take a month, 2 months. I had a student who was like, I do everything really fast. I'm like, well, yes, okay, I want this particular thing.
It's like I did a master study, but I'm not trying to make it look like the actual painting. I'm just doing a sketch of it. It's like, no, you don't just do a sketch of it.
So she sent me her first study in like a day. I'm like, no, don't talk to me until 2 weeks.
Don't talk to me.
Yeah, the 2 weeks. And she worked on it for like 2 weeks. I'm like, still not there. It took her about a month and a half to get that painting to look exactly like that. And do that. You'll learn a lot. The other thing I would say is just keep doing the studies and just like focus yourself immensely on like really great. Focus yourself immensely on anatomy and lighting. Like your anatomy is good. It just there's certain areas where it's like, that phase.
Like this is crooked.
Yeah. And once you get once you get into the full body, it starts kind of losing it a little bit. But yeah. So long story short, number 1, not too late, keep going. Number 2, focus on anatomy and light. And then number 3, master studies. And then we can add number 4, and that's just like hella studies from life as well, not just like film or anything. Go grab your friends, go grab your dogs, whatever you got, and just draw it from life too, so that you can see how your eyes work as opposed to the camera that flattens everything down. So yeah.
Nice.
Sorry, I disconnected.
There you go, Frank. You got a portfolio review.
Hold on. Yeah. Sorry.
All right.
I get really animated, and then I like.
Yeah. And everything goes up.
Okay.
Hi.
So, yeah.
If I'm a beginner-ish, what? I honestly don't know where I am at my drawing pad. It's okay. Beginner-ish. How can I start working towards my IP without being distracted maybe from improving drawing skills? IP, well, they're thinking too far ahead. They're thinking about, how can I start thinking about my IP without getting distracted from my drawing skills, like the stuff I'm going to sell, and like they're gonna make a movie out of it.
Well, these are two different things that we're talking about, right? We're talking about storytelling. We're talking about like,
not necessarily. IP could be just like a character that you design.
That's true. That's true.
But my thing is, like, if you have something in your head that could end up being your IP, this is just like a project that you want to work on. Mm-hmm. Work on that project as a fun thing, and study. Like, I always talk about how you need to make sure that you balance out practice and like assignments that people give you with personal projects that you are just inspired to do and you work on that are not practicing like gesture and color theory and perspective. It's just like, I want to make a book cover, or I have this character in mind, I want to design it and I want to make it look cool. Personal stuff, and balance it. And it might end up being your IP one day, but don't think about it like that. This is just like something you want to do and have fun with it.
Another thing too to also add is your technique is just a toolbox that allows you to tell a wider range of stories, whether it's visual or whether it's like, written, regardless of the art that you're utilizing to express yourself. Technique was just a thing that you utilize to be able to expand upon that. So there might be things that you're imagining that you're unable to express just because your technique isn't quite there yet. So the more you learn, the more you'll be able to share of your story or IP or whatever it is you're trying to say. So don't think of them as an isolated thing. Think of them, as Stan mentioned, as something that you do alongside and you kind of grow together in tandem.
Yeah, working on your own projects is not a distraction from learning how to draw. It's you need to apply these things that you learn to real things. Yeah. It's like if you just are, if you just constantly learning how to swing a bat, you're just like hitting the ball for a decade, and then all of a sudden you get thrown into a real baseball game, you're probably not going to do very well, because there's so much more to actually playing a real game versus just like being able to hit a ball, that you have to just play real games and get the dynamic of real stuff.
That is a great analogy.
I just came up with it.
It's so good. I mean, I would never come up with anything sports related.
I always relate,
but it's so good. It's so good.
I always relate learning how to draw to sport, to athletics for some reason. I mean, I feel like it's not really, but I did karate as a kid, and I feel like learning how to draw is so similar to me training martial arts. It's very similar. Like, we did a bunch of technique stuff where we just like, all right, let's do 100 punches, and you stand there and you just punch, and then you do all this stuff, but then every Friday we fight. And it's totally different. Fight Friday.
Yeah.
Well, it's sparring day, not fighting.
No, it's Fight Friday now.
Fight. I just said fight. I don't know. It sounds cooler than sparring. But like, it's totally different than just standing there doing punches. When somebody's actually coming at you with a punch, you're like, they're actually trying to hit me.
Stan was forced in the fire of Fight Fridays.
Yeah, Fight Fridays.
I love it.
I feel like I'm like becoming red.
Yeah.
Am I going right now?
From Fight Fridays.
Yeah.
Clearly. I love it. But yeah, no, what we've said.
Yeah, we're done with that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Adam says, "Hi, Karla. Longtime fan of your work. Oh. I regret not taking part in the contest, but I look forward to the results." The Proko challenge, probably, right? Or was there another contest you did?
This one.
Probably this one. Okay.
Yeah.
My question is, did you ever feel like your art wasn't good enough and struggle with motivation? How did you get out of that slump and improve?
Ooh.
This is probably the most common question. I used to think that the most common question is like about materials. But no, this is it.
This is because it's universal. We all feel it. So this is a story I tell pretty often. You literally look at any interview or anything that I've said, and I always talk about it. But I, in my early 20s, when I was starting out, I think I quit art for a little bit. I quit art for about 2 to 3 months because I was so upset with how far I had to go. So it hit me really, really, really hard enough to be like, I'm not doing this anymore. And I was actually dead set on it until, I talked. And again, I've mentioned the story a million bajillion times, but, I talked to my dad about it. My dad's a musician, and I told him, hey, I quit art. And he's just like laughing. He's like, And it's like, oh, Karla. I'm like, what are you laughing? That's so cruel. He's like, well, you're not an artist until you want to quit at least once. So congratulations, you're an artist. And it's true. I think that's something that we all share. Like, I've been in rooms with like some of the greatest and the best, and they're all like, oh, I wish I could do it like how you do it. I wish you could do this. And it's not like, we're not looking for like butt pats or like, hey,
butt pads?
Butt pats.
Butt pats.
Yeah, like a butt pat. Yeah. Hey.
I thought you said a butt pad.
No, listen, we don't want bigger, but or maybe we do. I don't know. Some of us have no butts. Some of us have no butts. Some of us have lots of butts. We're butt-friendly space. But anyway. but they're all just like looking for, that like no one really like we all kind of share just one thing where we all kind of feel like it's not good enough at some point. And I think that's a very universal feeling. And I think it's demystifying. Like, we tend to believe that it's only us. Like, oh, I did something wrong. It's me. No, it's all of us. It's all of us that feel this. But when you feel that it's all of us, it actually gives you like a sense of connection that to the process. And you're just like, oh, so feeling up and feeling down about your work, it's just a natural thing. It's going to happen at some point. I just passed through a little bit of a slump where I'm just like, oh, I'm not liking what I'm doing right now. I could be better, and it's just how it goes. But then you take a step back, and then you realize, okay, up to what degree does this kind of thinking help me create new work? It's going to happen. You observe it, you let it pass. But when it's time to paint, just see it as a puzzle to solve. You're just like, I just need to solve a visual puzzle, have fun with this, learn from every painting I make, and little by little you get better. And when those moments happen where you're just like, ugh, you know that because they're a part of it, you observe and you let it go and you say goodbye, or sometimes you hang out with it. Hey, what's up? Why are you feeling this way?
What up, bad painting?
What up, bad painting? The bad painting is like, well, I'm feeling this way because you didn't pay attention to composition enough, and then you learn. So like,
that's great.
It's fun. So don't feel bad. It's universal. We all feel it. So yeah.
Yeah. Cool. On a more positive note, this next person's username is I love you, Karla.
I love you too. I don't know, but wait, if I say
we don't know their real name because
but if I say their name, I love you, Karla, that sounds very narcissistic. Like well,
okay.
Whoever you are,
it's good to love yourself.
It's true.
It's a healthy thing.
It's a healthy thing.
Yeah. Hi, Karla. Absolutely love your work. Yeah, we know that already from your username. At your level, are you still looking for technical improvement, or is it more of a matter of, I wish my work was more like that or like this artist? What are some of the artists you look up to? Thank you.
Okay, so 100% yes, I'm still thinking of technique. Yeah. Like that will never stop. I will be like in my 80s. I'm like, I forgot how to draw an arm again, you know? Like,
yeah.
I forgot anatomy. It's just how it goes.
Are you gonna get an accent all of a sudden?
I hope so.
Yeah, I know.
I have so many plans where I'm like very, very, very old. I cannot wait. Like,
you have so many plans, and one of them is develop an accent.
So I have two things. Okay, one is develop an accent. I did a bet with a friend of mine that when I turn 60, I have to get a tramp stamp that says juicy.
Wow.
Yeah. And then like I hope that I'm one of those grandmas that like shrinks and gets like the arm flaps, because I want to tattoo like fire or wings so that I'm doing life drawing. It'll be really majestic. Like I really want to do that. Yeah. See, I got
What's stopping you? What's stopping you from getting a tramp stamp right now?
Flaps.
No. That's a tramp stamp. What's stopping you from? Why not do it now?
No, because it's not. It has to be when I'm 60, man.
Why? Because what happens at 60? What if humans? What if life expectancy when we get older, when we're at like 60s, 70s? What if life expectancy is like 120?
Then I live for the rest of my life with Juicy
for 60 more years.
Yeah, I'm committed. This was a bet that I did. This is my word, and now I've said it to everybody.
Yeah. You have to live stream your tattoo.
Yeah. No, I have to. It's gonna happen. Then we're gonna forget about it, and then they're gonna be like, "What the hell?" And I'm gonna be like,
what?
"Oh yeah, I'm juicy."
Juicy.
But no, yes, I'm still like, for example, I'm like, for the longest time, perspective was my Achilles heel. I've gotten much better at it. During these past 6 to 7 years, as I've like approached more keyframes and thinking more about spaces and things like that. But it's still something that I need to work on a lot. Anatomy, I'm always like, I go by memory now, but memory can be faulty. So it's good to sometimes go back and like review it and be like, oh yeah, that's right. That's how you make that connection and so on. So still, artists that I look up to, I look up to a lot of artists, but I try to focus on artists that are long gone. Sargent and all the Golden Age illustrators, Sorolla, Sorn, and so on.
Wow. Sorolla.
Oh yeah, he's Spanish, so Sorolla.
When you say it like that, it almost sounds as awesome as like Zorro.
It's Zorro. Yeah, I can speak Spanish.
The movie.
Yeah.
It's probably something else before it was a movie, right?
Yeah.
Like a classic story or something.
Well, Zorro? Yeah, Zorro is I think it's a classic story. I don't know. I don't know the problem.
Probably an old
book.
book.
My ass. But what was I saying?
I don't know.
But yeah, I like
flappy arms.
Flappy arms. I know. I like I like the older. I mean, I like the artists that are long gone because they're dead, and so I can't feel.
Even if they suck,
like I feel like if their work is so good, and I'm just like, oh man, I can never like that's so good. It doesn't. I don't take it as personally because I'm alive and they're very dead. So.
Okay.
Even this is like the 1900s. Like
not necessarily. What if someone died at the age of 25 recently, and they still got stuff up on Instagram? You know.
Oh, that's too dark. That's too recent. No. I'm talking about artists that have been gone for at least 100 years. Not the recent
they're
ones.
long dead.
Yeah, to where it's like, it's like, because it's too recent that it's depressing. That I'm like, man, this sucks.
Yeah, that sucks.
But like, if it's like 100 years or so,
if they died at the age of 25 100 years ago,
then that's fine.
It's not as sad. It's fine. People died at 25 all the time back then.
Listen, you stubbed your toe and you died. That's how.
Yeah. Or you were in World War II and you're.
Yeah, it was like what, like the 1921? No, I think we were World War I still at 1921 around there.
I don't. Yeah, that's.
World War II didn't happen until
1935.
35-ish? Oh no! So I was the student who loved history but forgot all the dates. There you have it. I'm like somewhere around there. But yeah, so
I was a student that hated history, forgot all the dates, forgot all the names.
Yeah. I just like the stories.
The stories were fun.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Hello guys. Do you have any advice for artists working for his career recovery? What does that mean? I don't know what that means.
Career recovery.
I don't know what that means.
Did you
leave? Very general too.
Did you leave the industry and then came back?
I don't know how to answer. You want to go to the next one?
Did you? Well, I mean,
we can't. This is one where I have to talk to you, Gaith Warda.
I think it's I would just, I mean, I could talk about like a break or like a health break, like, because that
well, we got like 10-15 minutes left, so let's just move on to we still got like 100 questions, so
sorry.
Okay. Hey Karla, I could ask a more useful question, but the oily Farn wants to know, what is that?
Oily fam.
Fam. Is this kind of juicy? Is this another tattoo you want to get?
When I was streaming, it was all about oils, and I fell into the oil painting. And Yeah, just like.
Wait, is this still on YouTube?
No! I didn't fall into my oil painting. Look at you, so excited. You're like, oh, she fell into oil painting.
I thought you like tripped and you fell onto your palette and you got like oil paint all over you.
I do have a shitty easel and it would fall all the time. Like, But I never fixed it because it made for great TV. However,
yeah, that's the drama.
The chat, they started calling themselves the oily fans. And after a while, we were all about oily. I even had like a cute little had like a little cute cartoon. They would like spam
awesome.
It, and
when
then
your community comes up with a name, that's like that's when you know you have a community.
It was so good. It was really good, and I would have like a camera for my palette, so I like showcase like mixing colors or pushing out the paint. And whenever I push out the paint, I go like, ooh, sploosh, and then it's just like beautiful paint there. And they just like put the oily cartoon, just oily. So that's where oily fans came from. But it has to be oily, as in oils, not the other one.
That's how she spelled it.
Yeah.
Wait, what's the other way?
No. Just.
Is this not?
Don't Google.
How do I spell it?
It's a pun.
Is it O-Y?
It's a pun. It's a pun on a website. That's You're so wholesome, Stan. You don't know it.
Oily. I'm trying to. I'm not finding anything bad.
Don't worry. We'll move on. Let's move on. I'll send.
Send me a link.
Yeah. Oh no. I'll send you what the pun is, but I won't send you a link. Anyway, what's the question?
Well, we'll put it in the description below. The question is, the oily fan wants to know, how do you feel about interacting with fans? And is the oily fan future on Twitch, on YouTube, mentorships in our hearts? LOL, thank you so much for being such a ray of sunshine and sharing your knowledge with us.
Oh, oh, thank you so much. So, the future is kind of, there's a lot of questions in there. The future is kind of on pause right now just because my schedule is so intense. I do want to go back to it. The thing is that I'm trying to figure out how to best move forward with it. Maybe this is something I can talk to you about, Stan, about how how do you manage community and YouTubes and fans and expectations while also, being a creative, right? Because that's the thing.
Yeah, you have to have a team for that.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. Okay, so the answer is I need a team.
It's my answer. You need to hire someone.
I need a team, so I need to hire someone.
If community is a really important part of your business, then you have to have a team.
Yeah. So I think I'm still debating. Like, I want to bring it back. I'm just not sure what form just yet. The live streams were super fun, and I loved engaging with people, but they were also very demanding artistically. And creating an oil painting while you're live streaming, while you're engaging with people, doesn't always yield the best results. And I did have a wonderful community of people that were very understanding. They were like, no, we just like to watch you paint and hang out. And I'm like, it was really wonderful. Yeah. But I definitely have to work on my schedule first because my work demands are too much right now. But when I come back, I just need to figure out, do I come back as a YouTube channel? Do I come back as a stream, as a Twitch? Yeah. I have a soft spot for all the oily fans and all the wonderful people. But, it's one of those things where it's like I need to figure out, put my ducks in a row.
You need to make money.
Yeah.
you have a boyfriend to support, right?
Yeah. He supports himself, but but yeah, sure. I'm like, damn, he's just a moocher now. Poor dude. No, he's a sweetie. But I do help out my fam a lot, my actual family.
Yeah, not the oily ones.
Not the oily. I wish I could help them. I don't know, but
I really want to know what the other oily is.
No.
Put it in the chat. Put it in my chat here.
Just. Oh yeah. Just. It's getting demonetized. Yes.
Oh wait, John just told me. Oh. Wait, but wouldn't it still be oily? Like,
I mean, I'm sure somewhere it will be.
It's still pronounced. It's still spelled the same way, right?
Sort of. Yeah. No. One's oily.
Yeah, but it's just a different type of oil. But
it's a good ass pun. They made a good ass pun.
Okay, I'll look up the spelling.
Don't just.
But not right now. Okay. So.
But yeah, thanks for the question. Anyway,
we can say OnlyFans here. I don't know why.
Oh, could we? I don't know.
Yeah, this is not a family show.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's based on OnlyFans.
Do you want to cuss?
Porno. I can't. I love to cuss.
You can't say that word.
I love to cuss.
You can't say porno. You could say a bad word right now if you want. You've been holding back. It's probably just
I've been holding so much back. I'm just usually like,
okay. You have to cuss. Oh, okay. You already did it. Okay, I was gonna say you have to cuss in the next answer.
Okay, great. Okay, let's do it. That's the challenge.
Okay, Rodrigo. You're lucky. You're getting a cuss word in your answer. Hi, Karla. I want to ask you if you have workshops, art books, or tutorials I can check out. I'm really fond of your artistic voice and the knowledge you have. P.S. You are amazing. Your brushwork is so rich and appealing.
Ah, shit. All right, okay.
You have to use a different one. You said shit last time. You got to use a different one.
Come on. I only got like a couple. So, all right. Let's start with I'm very fucking tired. There we go. That's
Whoa. You went all the way?
No, yes,
all the way?
Of course, why go think half-ass? Seriously.
There's another one. But you have to use it in your answer to the question.
Well, it's just gonna be very rude.
You could be like, I got some badass workshops coming up, or
badass. That's not cussing.
That's not.
That's
well,
like
ass.
baby.
You just used ass. Oh, was that that wasn't okay? I got some shitty workshops coming up.
That just changes it. So okay, I am working some stuff. Some cool ass shit. Listen, I'm trying.
Okay, we're done.
Stand.
Someone's mom just walked in and was like, "What are you watching?"
What are you watching? And you're like, "No, I swear, it's wholesome the whole time." No. This isn't the right question for this, but no, I'm working on a workshop, with mostly just Schoolers in my run with that crew a lot. There's going to be an online workshop coming up, I think near August. We're still working on the details for that. Cool. I'm working on an online course and have been working on an online course for a very long time.
How long? I bet I have you beat.
How long are you working on yours?
Well, my anatomy course is I think it's on its 7th year.
Oh, you have me beat! Oh my god!
I have everybody beat. I've
been working on mine for like 4 years, almost 5 now, and I'm so happy.
Yeah,
I thought I was the only one. Oh no!
Yeah.
But I've had people I've seen on like YouTube comments like, "Oh, where's Karla's course? She's off there living her life," and I'm like, "Yeah, I am, but also I'm just busy."
Yeah.
And poor Bobby, I can't look at him in the eye anymore. I'm just like,
but sorry. I have been. It's been out for that long. It's just like I keep I'm adding to it.
Oh, see, yeah.
But it's when I sold it initially, there was nothing in it, so it was a live update. You get to watch me create this course.
Oh, that's such a good way to do it. Just like
you just pre-sell it and be like, guys, I'm going to be making this course for the next 4 years. Yeah. But you never plan for 4 years. It just happens that way.
So I've had mine. Like I hired, like we did like crazy work. I got like a crew. We did like some live action stuff. We did some shots of like anatomy, some like a whole lighting course. So it has been hard at work. The part that's taking me the longest is just the actual painting of things, because I'm always so booked and always so busy. So like whenever I'm like, okay, it's time to sit down and do it, I get one small section done and then I don't get a chance to do it for a while just because so much work. But it is in the works. And when I do, that's why I like in the channel, you're like, you guys are asking me like, just promote things, whatever you're doing. I'm like, I have things, but they're all in the works. So just follow me online, because I will be like, hey, I'm going to be doing this thing. Come check it out. It's the best way to follow anything. But yeah, that's my answer to that. Yay.
Okay. We only have time for a few more. But I think we're about halfway through.
Jesus.
Yeah.
We were like, there are no questions.
I'm looking at the little scroll bar on the right side, and we're exactly in the middle. So
we tried.
Oh, and I haven't reloaded the page in like an hour. So there's actually okay. Sorry guys. Save your questions, post them again in the next live stream. Although they're all for Karla, so you have to come back, Karla. People love you. You come back tomorrow.
It's okay.
Nice.
Not tomorrow, but I'll come back.
Deadlines, guys.
I got deadlines.
So pushy.
Please.
Okay, Ning says, have you guys gone through art block? Okay, we had that question already. Let's see. Next question.
Next time I got my DSLR camera fixed, and I'll look just as good as you, Stan.
Yeah, you gotta plug in that DSLR, get some depth of field. You know? Get rid of the overexposed background elements. But it doesn't matter. It's all about your energy. You look better because your energy is better.
What's up? What's up?
What's up? I'm trying to pick a really good one here.
Do it up.
Oh, this is. Okay, this one's pretty cool. Ian Rodriguez. Hey, I was curious to know. Personally, I've started to stray away from digital art and move on towards highly rendered graphite work. There are certain studios, not necessarily specific. Wait, what does that mean? Are there certain but not specific studios that would deem that kind of medium for concept design acceptable? I believe that may be a little subjective. I also want to know your opinion on the detriment of using traditional mediums used in concept art today.
Okay, so
that's a good question.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a slightly sad answer. There's only a couple people. I know there's only a couple people that do traditional anymore, and that's the only.
Wait, what? A couple people?
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Like one or two. Like
true.
The only people that I know that use traditional for like concept work, it's Ian McKegg, and then occasionally Eric Tiemens, and that's about it. It's not to say that you can't, but it's very, very rare. I can't think of maybe Alan Williams.
Because I mean, maybe you're thinking about does concept art go beyond just like movies or not? Maybe I'm mistaking it.
It just depends. Like for example, for illustration, everybody does the traditional. Go for it. But concept art, actual concept work utilized for films or games.
Okay, I think I know what you're saying. Because sometimes you just need to take elements and just like batch them together, and digital is just way faster and more
you
useful.
need there's like a fast iteration, and then there's also the other problem is if you're only doing it with graphite, you're only doing it in black and white, meaning that you don't ever get to see color, and color is going to be a big part of your concept portfolio because most movies are in color. So I'm not going to tell you no, because anything is possible. Like if your work is incredible and it's undeniable, like some director will be like, screw it, I want this, let's go. And you'll get to see there's some directors that do that actually. Guillermo del Toro hires usually the people he hires can do traditional work, and sometimes do traditional work, but it's very, very rare. More often than not, people use digital. Painting, whether it's 3D and so on.
And when those people that he hires do traditional, are they using graphite where they don't even put color into it? Because I'm assuming the biggest hurdle here is that graphite is just black and white. And when you're doing concepting, it's like color is a really important element.
Yeah, I think the best case for this, it is Ian McKegg, because Ian McKegg will give directors like sketches, and those sketches are like the initial ideas. Sometimes they're straight up the idea, but it's more story elements. It's more just like characters, posture, stuff like that. And he'll send that as the initial thing. And if it goes forward, then there has to be a round where he paints it, and he usually paints it digitally. That's just how it goes. It's been a very long time. Yeah.
There are a lot of people though that do combinations. Like for example, Scott Flanders, he's teaching the concept design course on Proko right now, and he starts his process on paper.
Oh yeah.
He starts his sketches, his thumbnails are all on paper, and then when he's ready to like start finalizing things, he brings it into digital. And,
absolutely.
And he does,
So you could totally have a mixture of things. Like that's not a problem at all. So you could totally have like a super, well-designed, thing in black and white and pencil, and then you can scan that and then take it onto Photoshop and give it color and submit that as a final, right? I wouldn't necessarily, if you were really, really, really fast, then you could do lots of sketches and send those, for approval, and then work on those sketches and then, add the color in later. So you could have that pipeline. That's absolutely possible. But to have like a whole traditional pipeline from beginning to end, that's a little trickier. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And my question to you, Ian, is just like, why are you starting to stray away from digital art? Like what would even make you want to do that? I don't understand it. It's just like it's a medium that has all sorts of looks. Like you can make digital look exactly like traditional now. Like I've seen people are like, that looks traditional. I cannot tell the difference. And it's like, what is it about digital that you don't like? It's like,
but also it's like pencil feels good too. You know, like
it does.
Traditional also. I always tell people also to do like, you know, for their own personal work though, to explore traditional, just because like it changes the way your brain functions on a painting, like because you don't have undo, you have to like really think about it. But but I do agree, for like a production sense, it's not the best medium, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer traditional as well. I most of the stuff I do is traditional, but like I don't try to like push away digital. When it makes more sense for me to use digital for something, I will work on my Cintiq. It just, I don't know. It feels like there's benefits to it, and why not use those benefits? So.
All I will say though, if it's something you really, really want, and you know you're really, really, really stubborn about it, no problem. Just make sure it's the best pencils that you can ever make, because that's the one thing. If it's an undeniable talent and it's an undeniable skill, someone will hire you for it. So
yeah.
Woo! Last one.
Yeah, let's do the last one. Thank you.
Make it good. Make it good, Sam. Make it count. Or I guess that's more up to the questions.
There's so many. I can't go through them and pick the best one. Okay, here. Dactyl. Here.
Dactyl.
Any tips from you both for getting started in working with color? I have drawn with black and white medias for most of my life, and it seems that every time I try starting artwork with color, I just freeze when getting to choose them, and the results are just usually seem to turn out very different from the references or base ideas.
All right, Stan, you go first.
Yeah, well, okay. So I mean, if you're freezing up, that means you probably don't understand color. You don't know how to control it. You really don't know where to start. And there's several things I think you should do. Number one, first learn the fundamentals of color, and it's actually not that much you need to learn in order to start understanding it. Get James Gurney's book, Color and Light.
Good shit.
I'm just reading what Karla is typing me right now. No. Read that book, and you don't even have to read the whole thing. Just read the first few chapters. You'll understand the basics of color theory. Then start doing master studies, and not master studies like what we just said earlier from in the stream, where you're actually trying to like replicate the painting, but do like studies of the colors the master used. So those could be quicker sketches. Like you could do a color study from a master painting where you like their colors, and that could take an hour. Maybe you spend an hour just like really figuring out the color harmonies, and just try to replicate the color feel. And you could do a lot of those. And the first 10, 15, 20 you do are going to be pretty bad. You're not going to get them right. But that's the point, is that you're going to eventually figure out what's wrong with your color studies, what's different from yours and the master's, and you'll get them eventually right. The third step here is now start doing it on your own without copying a master. The way I was doing it was I went plein air painting a lot, where you go outside and you try to figure out the colors of the environment around you, and you capture the feeling of that. So now you don't have a master solving the colors for you anymore. You have to solve it on your own and figure out the color harmonies.
That's a very comprehensive and excellent answer.
I'm a teacher.
teacher. Yeah. I would just add to the also film. I really learned how to understand color by doing film studies as well. Nice, go to the shotdeck.com, get like a little subscription.
What?
No. Shot Deck. There we go. I'm trying really hard.
Okay. It wouldn't have been a thing if you didn't bring it up.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah,
No.
It was pretty clear.
I'm sure it was. Anyway,
it really was.
I just you said it and I started to get laughing. It's true. I think our minds are too terrible. Anyway, so you could do what I used to do back when I used to work at Kabam. We used to have this thing called lunchies, lunch studies. Lunchies.
To me, it just sounds like a snack break.
I know. But it was just 15 minutes, and we would set a timer, and we just do like quick color and value studies of different, cinematic shots. That's cool. That's where I learned color harmony. Like that's where I learned that like in film they'll utilize like the same 3 colors but in different ways. Like you'll have like a scene where there's like a ballroom and the mantle is brown, a lady's hair is brown, a shirt is brown, and then the other one is cyan, like flowers are cyan, the shirts are kind of like an off, like a cooler white, and so they'll repeat color all over the place, and that's something that you'll see a lot in art the more you study it. That repetition is really good to, it's really yummy to our eyes, so you can do that. The other thing I would also lastly suggest is do also, once you study from life, plein air painting is really good. The other thing that showed me too well how to properly do color, and especially the subtleties that occur in color, is doing a really realistic still life. It's super boring, but if you do like get a knife and a skull or some cool arrangements and see how that works with different colors, that's also really good practice as well.
Yeah. What I love about still life and plein air is that nobody in the world has an excuse to say, oh, but I live somewhere where I don't have access to a live model, which is true. Like there's a lot of people that don't have access to live models. But like when we say like go do plein air studies, it's like, do you not have outside?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you live in a
I mean, and even if like, if it's a pandemic, because that's actually depending on where you are.
That's true. Some people can't go outside, but they could look out the window. They could,
exactly.
And then still life, still life, you could set up literally any object in your studio.
I had a friend. You
have probably a light bulb to put somewhere.
Or just paint your kitchen. Paint your kitchen in different times of day, or
paint your hand. Yeah. There's your live model. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's mostly just to start training. It's mostly just to start training yourself to see, to be able to translate what you see onto a canvas and to be able to do it accurately. And that, it does sound like the thing that you need the most. It's just the practice, it's the mileage. Do it often, and eventually you won't be so scared to just tackle it. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Last question. Why are you so nice? Someone says.
Oh, I don't know. My mama raised me that way. I don't know.
Are you actually nice?
Are you actually? No,
I'm trying to figure out our drama here. I want to call you mean.
I know.
You're so mean in real life.
So I'm like, I feel like I'm like Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny is super chill up until he gets poked or bullied. Then he bullies
just,
right
shoots
back.
You in the face.
And I'm like, oh, that's me. Like my Hispanic rage comes out when I'm just like, someone is mean or a bully. I can't stand bullies. It's just like, Okay. But it takes a lot for me to get there. Most of the time,
makes you a superhero. Like, that's what superheroes do.
Can I be Batman?
They beat up you beat up the bullies.
I want to be Batman.
So just no words, just
I am the night.
With that,